our audience kept reaching out to us and saying, when are you guys going to make your own game? Because you spend all this time making guides, tools and stuff like that for other people's games. When are you going to do it? And really for a long
This is Peggy Anne Salz. This is Gamescom, and this is the opportunity to reconnect with Shem and Dan from Fateless. We had our Fated interview before, and a lot has happened in your world. Why don't you tell me, let's start off with it. The good news, what is it?
Good news is we finished our raise. We raised $8 million from our community.
Yeah.
We brought everybody together, and the angels in the community said, we really want to do this. We want to make this thing happen. So we're coming back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great because the community, built the game. You practically are just like an instrument of the community. That's a great story in itself. Maybe you want to chime in a bit on that, Dan, the history of this for our audience that, when you talk about the importance of community building, I mean, this is the case study, right?
Yeah. So, obviously we met before. We originally met in Helsinki and then again at Poppy Gamer.
So we're making this into a thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the core of the company was founded off the back of Simon, who's the other co-founder. Unfortunately, he's not here with us. Today he's having some much needed rest, so it's fine. He deserves it. But the two of us started a content creation platform where we built guides, tools, and things like that around the type of games in the genre that we're now creating, and we built over sort of 3 or 4 years or so, a very large following. But we saw a lot of games try and come to market and they weren't quite hitting what our audience really wanted. And, our audience kept reaching out to us and saying, when are you guys going to make your own game? Because you spend all this time making guides, tools and stuff like that for other people's games. When are you going to do it? And really for a long time, we were like, oh, it's probably not us. We're not game developers. We don't know how to do that. Or do we want to be content creators, or do we want to take that next step into the industry? And we'd met Shem a year and a half or so
he's
before.
He's a category creator is what I would say.
Yeah. So Shem was, when we first met him, he was running a game studio, and we reached out to him and, we said, if we're going to do this, we need somebody who can help us lead it, who has the experience of creating games, but also has the vibe with our community and understands what it is that we want to build. So we reached out to Shem, and I don't know if you want to fill in the gaps from.
Well, I think you know a little bit of that story already. But what's great is that we're basically at the point now where people are playing the game. We had 50,000 people that signed up for our alpha. And they were all really excited to play, and we told them that, hey, we're going to do this in 3 stages. Our first stage, we're going to do a smaller group. So we thought we were going to have 5,000 people, or we invited 5,000 people, and then we expected 1,000 people to show up because we weren't sure who. And we ended up having 5,700 people show up. So they kept asking for, hey, can I have one more person? I said, fine.
Yeah.
And people just are loving it. And then now, actually, as we speak right now, there's 15,000 people. So that's our second wave. Again, playing, having fun. We've made lots of improvements. And that was kind of the point of it, right? To get the feedback, make sure people are feeling like this is working, the core loop, lots of testing things. And then our final one, we're going to do a really sweet event. I'll pass it over to you in a second, but we're going to have everybody come in.
Okay.
There's a competition, and then maybe tell them a little bit about the competition.
So you've got something really interesting planned. And make it into an event. I like it. A happening.
That's exactly the plan. And, we've seen games come to market and through our other business, and really just being kind of so involved in the gacha community and the hero collector space. They come to market and they drop their betas and the alphas and things like that. And by the time they get to launch, people have already played the game. They've already experienced the story. They've gone through that grind and the stages. And it's a bit of a spoiler, really, because you put so much effort into creating these storylines and characters and things like that. What we decided was we need to get the data. We need to be able to capture the metrics to understand whether we're hitting the right points, whether the balance is right and things like that. But we don't want to give away the core fundamentals of what will be exciting at launch. So what we actually did is we combined our entire ecosystem of the game into a tower. Now this tower is, it's the caverns technically, but they're referred to as towers in these games. It's 150 floors, and the final floor is an unkillable boss at floor 151. And basically each stage of the tower represents a different part of our economy. So parts will drop gear that they can go back and grind. So others will drop champions, which they can add to their collection to really kind of build it out. And how we're structuring it is this alpha is effectively a competition. Now we've partnered with some incredible people to create rewards for our community.
I was going to say, the rewards are going to come in really big.
Yeah. So we're working with one of the biggest Warhammer creators on YouTube.
I'm so absolutely hyped about this.
It's going to be so cool. He's creating a full-scale diorama of the final battle, which is going to have our dragon with the team in front of it.
The winning team.
So the winning team, whichever champions they use, their team will be in this immortalized in this diorama. And Gary, who's one of our lead investors, is on our board. He owns a museum in Vegas for miniatures. And this diorama is going to go on display in his museum.
Verco's Vaults, what it's called.
It's an incredible place to check out if you're in Vegas. And the top 5 people, or the top
X. We'll say top X.
We're planning around the top 5 people. We're going to fly out to Vegas to do it
do it there at the museum, right?
Yeah. The top 1,000 people who take part in the alpha are going to get these. We've had almost like medals or coins forged with the Godforge logo on it. So that there's no spending or anything in the alpha. It's just our way of giving back, for thanking our community for helping us, one, get this far. But 2, gathering all the data that we need to make sure that the launch is successful in the way of taking part in this competition.
What I really like about your story is it's like simple to do an activation, right? An activation is like, we did it, it's amazing. And then, peters out, trickles out, but you keep it going. What is the idea here, or what can you share about that playbook?
I think for us, where we come from the background of being content creators and players, what we're trying to build and create is the type of game that we would have loved to create content for and create. So, having a constant flow of content that you can engage with the community around. And it's not just content in the game that keeps you busy and active playing for days and days and days. We're not trying to be a time sink for people. We want to respect people's time with stuff which is actually enjoyable to get involved in. And it's the type of content which you want to share with people, be that through YouTube videos, guides, Twitch streams, things like that. But we want to keep creating in sort of these experiences where you feel like you're part of a growing world, and it's not just a solo play experience. And you have to be part of, or join part of the community to really kind of get the most out of it. But at the same time, if you do choose to just be kind of a solo player doing that or anything, you can do that as well.
Meet you where you are.
Because as you said, I mean, it's interesting because you go to the conferences and they say, don't build a game that you yourself would want to play.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you've done.
Exactly.
So there is something there.
I think the caveat to that is that a lot of people that they're talking to at the time are strictly game first developers. We started as the community, so we are building the game that our community want.
And to talk about that playbook you're saying that we're building, I mean, I think it's going to be required. I don't think that this is optional anymore. Seriously. So if you think about games just being commoditized, and it's so much easier to build now because of AI and the tools that have been built. So how do you get in front of people?
Yeah.
It's impossible. Discovery is going to become, it already is the biggest problem, and it's going to become 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So really it's all about having groups that you trust, following where they go, and then following around. Cultivating that. Yeah, exactly.
To harvest later. What was it about your pitch? I mean, what do you think nailed it? Because you just got funding again.
Yeah.
When I know a lot of people, a lot of studios, they can't do it. And they've got great stuff. They've got great games.
What's great about having a community that's really passionate about it is that when we're sitting down for a pitch and we're explaining what we're going to do, why it's going to work, they know they can feel it. Right?
Yeah.
They're a part of these
communities.
communities.
I mean,
they see
data.
We show them the numbers, and especially, after the success in the first round, and then proving that we could actually deliver on making a game, making cool characters, basically doing the things that we said that we were going to do. The second round, I would say, was like, I wouldn't say that it was easier. I would say that it felt much more natural. It was like, okay, let's just make sure that these numbers line up, that everything is right. And then we were
moving on your way.
And then we were focused on bringing in people that would really amplify what we were doing. And that's maybe why it took longer, was, we ended up bringing in some people that are going to help us along the way as well.
Yeah. I mean, that ties into it, is that not only externally as our community growing, but actually internally since our first fundraise. So in total now we have raised 14 million, which is, crazy to say that.
And this is all angel investors?
Yeah, all from within our community.
Okay.
No
So far,
VC.
we don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly.
When they see this, who knows? No, but seriously, understanding and getting in early,
But it also allowed us to reach out to people who have been, built the games that we grew up playing.
Yeah.
And the team that we've now got behind Godforge, which is our game, they're incredible. Even Shem, I don't know if you'll give anybody a shout out to some of the names that we've got.
Wow, oh my God, it's ridiculous. We've got Jerry O'Flaherty, who literally has an Emmy award-winning director. He's doing our cameras. He's coming in and fixing it. I mean, like we've got. Yeah, the whole team is just incredible.
They're invested literally in this.
Yes.
Because they see the potential. And it's great because it allows that crossover. It is a form of entertainment. So Emmy awarding, that brings it. That brings it in. That brings it all together.
And the experience that they bring to the table, when we're talking about how we can tie that kind of level of experience of the games that they've worked on in the past into this kind of next step for us with Godforge and really kind of amplify the level, because, we are going up against really big players in the industry to try and get noticed. And we need to make sure that we hit the quality bar that our audience expects, but deliver, a game which is going to propel into the future as well, not just be relevant sort of now.
Where do you see this going? I'm talking to a lot of studios. They're saying, we want to build a brand. We have a great game. We want to build a brand.
Yeah.
So that's a focus. And you certainly could go that route. I know of others. It's like, no, we're going to do fantastic loyalty, rewarded experiences. We're going to bring in the relevant brands and we're going to have this digital, physical experience. Where do you see this? I mean, okay, it's a little unfair because you just have the game and you're just thinking about your activations. So we know that you're thinking digital and physical, but where can this go, being that it's community propelled?
Well, I would say a big part of it that we're focusing on right now is the IP. So I mean,
building the IP.
Well, yeah. So when we build that IP, I mean, we do plan to have. This isn't the only genre that we love, in a sense, right? And so so there's that, and then obviously, our narrative director, he was the narrative director for New World, actually, and so. And when we were first thinking about the actual, what is this going to be? How do we fit gods, myths, and legends together? We would come up with like, oh, these are really cool ideas. But what he's built, frankly, is just on another level. And so we're really excited. And then we're working with Light Farm. I guess I'm just going to name all the people that we work with that we love. Yeah. We're working with them, and what they've done is they've taken a visual idea that we've had and turned it into something that is uniquely, it's Godforge. We're still at the stage of like getting the feature complete, making sure that our core loop works and stuff like that. But more what I'm talking about is the IP that when you think of League of Legends, the gameplay, there's characters like, oh, kind of cool. And they're in a background, but what's the IP? It's those characters, those stories, the connections, stuff like that. And that is something that we're building very, very meticulously. And so talking about building a brand and expanding beyond that, I think that's where we start. We already have a community. We have a community first company. And I think that we're known for that at this point.
Yeah.
And
the story is so central.
We talk to the community constantly. Like when I flew in to the UK and then drove here. That's another story. I flew into the UK and I was staying in a hotel and I was like, I'll just hop on a Discord, see what people are up to. Yeah. So I jumped into one of the channels that we have in our community Discord. And I spent the next 5 hours, I think, just talking to them, talking through design ideas, talking about some of the stuff that we're building in the IP. And so from that perspective, they are collaborating. It's very, very collaborative. It's 40 or so people probably that started to really talk. But I mean, there's some interesting ideas around that as well.
We've also got over 100 content creators signed up to cover the game and create content on it with us. And one of the cool things that we're doing is every week we're doing a podcast and we invite different members of our team on to talk to different people from either the community or anyone like that, where they can directly feed back to actually,
because they want to know who's in the community and they want to understand who built the game.
Exactly. So we have people, be it, just figureheads in the community or the actual content creators themselves, so that they're firsthand learning what it is that they want the studio to deliver on behalf of the community. So it's very cool to have that personal interaction that, you know, when our players eventually get their hands on it, they're not going to be like, oh, the narrative team worked on it. They're going to know, oh, there was Aaron that wrote this, and you know, Mike worked on these visuals, and you know, things like that. So it's a very personal touch.
Personal connection.
Exactly, that interaction, that connection, which is what we have now. Because we'll be going for our third one. I'll bet PGC London.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's a date.
What do you want to be telling me there?
PGC London. What's the
That's January. That's January. That's kicking off 2026.
That's going to be big.
That's going to be big.
January
okay, what's going to happen?
Well, January is where we're aiming at for our soft launch, right? And so that won't be a big marketing push or anything.
All right.
But what that'll mean is that we'll be feature complete. We'll have things looking the way that we want them to look. We'll have lots of people playing. We'll have players potentially investing in the game as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I mean, that's a pretty big marker for us. So that would be an amazing,
we have a pretty big interview.
Yeah.
I'm all in for number 3.
Let's do it.
Amazing.
Third time is always a charm. You're on. Absolutely.
Love it.
Love it.
Awesome. Thank you, Peggy.